Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Definitely. Always up for an adventure.
Well, this time, we're going global. It's November, and, there's just something in the air, right? It's not just pumpkin spice lattes, is it?
Nope, not even close.
Crisp air,
Yeah.
the leaves turning those amazing colors. It's autumn, and all around the world, people are celebrating this season in their own unique ways.
It's amazing how many different traditions there are, right?
It is. We've been digging through articles, travel blogs. I even found some fascinating folklore studies, all to unearth some of the most interesting autumn traditions out there.
Sounds like you've been busy.
Oh, yeah. But before we really get into it, I gotta ask, do you have any autumn traditions that you just love? Maybe something from your childhood or family?
Oh, definitely. But hey, I don't want to spoil anything. Let's hear what you've uncovered first.
Deal. Well, I brought in an expert who's been giving some serious thought to what connects these celebrations, even when they seem completely different on the surface. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's pretty amazing, actually. You've got all these cultures celebrating autumn so differently, but at their core, there are these universal themes. As nature starts to wind down around us, it seems we instinctively seek comfort, gratitude, and connection.
Wow. It's like those traditions are reminding us of what really matters, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, enough with the deep thoughts for now. Let's get specific. We've got Oktoberfest in Germany, and get this, it started as a royal wedding party. For King Louis I, no less.
A royal bash to kick off a tradition. That's pretty cool.
It is. And now it's this massive, world-famous beer festival.
I mean, who doesn't love a good party, right?
Right. But seriously, what started as a local celebration has spread globally. You might even have a smaller Oktoberfest happening near you.
I bet. That's actually similar to something we found about the Philippines. They've got this festival called Maskara every October in Bacolod City.
Maskara, I've never heard of it. What's it like?
Think vibrant colors, music, amazing costumes, the whole 9 yards.
Sounds pretty lively.
It is, but the story behind it is actually really interesting. It started after this tragic ferry accident in the 1980s. The community created this festival of smiles as a way to lift spirits and show their resilience.
Wow. So we've got a royal wedding party and a community overcoming hardship. That's quite a range. But then there's the Mexican Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. That seems like a total contrast to those high-energy festivals.
You're absolutely right. Dia de los Muertos is such a beautiful example of how differently cultures approach life and death.
It's a time to remember loved ones who've passed.
Exactly, but it's not somber or mournful at all. It's actually super colorful and vibrant with music, food offerings, and of course those iconic sugar skulls.
It's amazing how a tradition focused on remembering those who are gone can be so full of life.
Right, it's more about celebrating their memory than mourning their loss. It's about acknowledging that cycle of life and death and staying connected to those who've passed on.
It definitely makes you think differently about how we commemorate those we've lost. It seems like light plays a big role in a lot of these autumn traditions. And I'm not just talking about literal light, but symbolic light, too.
Oh, totally. A great example is Diwali, the Festival of Lights. Hindus, Jains, and Buddhists celebrate it all over India and beyond. It's incredible.
I can only imagine.
It is. They have these amazing displays of lamps and fireworks, and they release lanterns into the sky. It's all about the victory of good over evil and light over darkness.
I bet that symbolism resonates with a lot of people, not just those who celebrate Diwali, especially as we're heading into the shorter days of winter.
For sure. It speaks to our need for hope and renewal, and it connects beautifully to the themes of gratitude and reflection that we often associate with autumn.
Speaking of light, that reminds me of another festival, Loy Krathong in Thailand. Thousands of these handcrafted lanterns floating on rivers and in the sky.
It's breathtaking. I've seen pictures. It's truly something else.
And it's not just a pretty sight, right? There's deeper meaning there, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Loy Krathong is about letting go of negativity and making wishes for good fortune in the coming year. It's all about gratitude for the past and hope for the future. Perfect for autumn, really.
It's incredible how all these traditions, each one so unique and special, come back to these universal human experiences. Gratitude, hope, a sense of belonging.
It makes you wonder, are these celebrations even more important now in our modern world? Our daily lives often feel so detached from the rhythms of nature.
Food for thought, for sure. So we've gone from lively beer festivals to quiet introspection and even touched upon the symbolism of light and darkness. What other fascinating insights are waiting for us in the world of autumn traditions? I'm ready to dive deeper.
Let's do it. There are so many more traditions to explore.
It's amazing how these traditions really highlight our connection to nature, isn't it? We've talked about these big celebrations, but it makes me think about those themes of gratitude and reflection showing up in quieter, more intimate ways, too.
Oh, absolutely. It's those everyday moments, those little rituals that really weave the magic of autumn into our lives. Think about all those cozy things people do as the weather starts to cool down.
Exactly. Like imagine this, curling up in a comfy armchair with a warm blanket and a stack of books, maybe some soft lighting and a crackling fire.
That sounds perfect. It's all about creating a sanctuary, a space where you can slow down and really savor the simple pleasures of the season. Those lifestyle blogs we were looking at, they had tons of great ideas for bringing that cozy autumn feeling indoors.
They did. And it's not just about the visual aspect either. Scents plays such a huge role in how we experience the world, like the smell of cinnamon, pumpkin spice, wood smoke.
It's true. It's like those scents can instantly transport us back to those warm autumn memories.
Amazing how powerful those sensory experiences can be, like aromatherapy for the soul, almost. They really ground you in the moment.
Definitely. And speaking of grounding, did you notice how many of the sources mentioned baking as like a quintessential autumn activity? It seems like it's more than just a way to satisfy our sweet tooth?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. There's definitely something deeper going on there.
Like the act of baking itself can be so therapeutic. Working with your hands, connecting with this age-old tradition, it nourishes the body and soul.
And it's often a social activity, too. Baking for loved ones, sharing those homemade treats. It's like a beautiful way to express care and connection, especially as we get closer to the holidays.
You're so right. It's like those small acts of generosity, whether it's baking for a neighbor or volunteering in your community, they really amplify that spirit of autumn.
It's like we're hardwired to come together this time of year,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
There's this feeling of wanting to share the abundance, give back, create warmth and belonging as we head into those colder months.
Totally. And you know what else keeps coming up? That theme of gratitude. So many of the traditions we've explored emphasize the importance of slowing down and appreciating what we have.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be anything big or fancy. It's about those small moments of mindfulness, like just taking the time to watch the leaves change color, or enjoying a warm drink, or even just taking a few deep breaths of fresh air.
Exactly. It's those little things that can make a world of difference. It's about making that conscious choice to focus on the good, savor the simple pleasures that autumn has to offer.
It's so easy to get caught up in the busyness of life, especially with the holidays coming up. But these traditions, they invite us to slow down, be present, really savor the beauty of this season. Because it's fleeting.
It really is. There's one more aspect we haven't really touched on. As much as autumn is about warmth and light, there's also that element of darkness that creeps in, with the shorter days and longer nights.
And that's true. I wonder how different cultures view that darkness. Is it something to fear, or is there a way to embrace it, see it as part of the natural cycle?
That's such a fascinating question. And you know what's interesting? When we were doing our research, we noticed how some traditions actually encourage you to lean into that darkness, to see it as a time for introspection, reflection, even a little bit of mystery.
Like Halloween. It's like we playfully confront our fears, acknowledge that unseen world.
Exactly. And even in traditions like Dia de los Muertos, darkness isn't seen as something bad. It's more like a space where we can connect with those who have passed on.
It's about recognizing that life has both light and dark, right? They're both essential parts of the human experience.
Exactly. Instead of fearing the darkness, we can see it as an opportunity for inner exploration, maybe a deeper connection with our intuition.
It's like embracing the full spectrum of life with all its complexity and nuance.
And that, I think, is such a powerful lesson that autumn has to teach us.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? There's so much wisdom embedded in these traditions.
Absolutely. They're not just about celebrating a time of year, they're about connecting with something deeper within ourselves and the world around us.
So we've explored cozy rituals, acts of generosity, the importance of gratitude, even the idea of embracing the darkness. What other hidden gems might we uncover as we continue our exploration of autumn traditions?
Let's find out. There's still so much to discover.
Wow, it feels like we've just scratched the surface of all there is to learn about autumn traditions. So where do we go from here?
I think it's time to shift gears a bit. We've been exploring all these different traditions, right? But now I'm thinking about how we can personalize those themes, bring that magic into our own lives.
That's perfect. Because it's one thing to admire these traditions from afar, but actually experiencing them, that's a whole other level.
Exactly. And the best part, it doesn't have to be anything complicated. It's the small things, the little intentional acts that make all the difference.
I love that. So let's say someone wants to bring a little more autumn magic into their life. Where would you suggest they start?
Hmm, that's a great question. You know what I think? Creating a cozy corner in your home is a fantastic place to begin. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a comfy chair, a warm blanket, maybe a stack of books, and a scented candle.
Oh, I love that idea. It's like creating a little sanctuary, a space where you can just unwind and recharge, a
Mm.
space that really embodies the warmth and comfort of autumn.
Exactly. And while you're there, nestled in your cozy corner, why not start a gratitude journal? Take a few minutes each day to jot down some things you're thankful for.
It's such a simple practice. But you're right, it can be incredibly powerful. It helps you appreciate all the good things in your life. It's like a little reminder to focus on the positive, even when things are tough.
Definitely. And for those who are feeling crafty, why not try making some autumn decorations using natural materials?
Right.
Think wreaths made from colorful leaves, centerpieces with gourds and pine cones, or even just pressing some leaves between pages of a book to preserve their beauty.
I love that. What's a fun way to bring the beauty of the season indoors?
Hmm.
And speaking of connecting with nature, we can't forget about spending quality time with loved ones this time of year.
You're so right. It doesn't matter if it's a big Thanksgiving feast or just a casual get together with friends. Sharing meals, telling stories, reminiscing about past autumns, they're all ways to strengthen those bonds, create lasting memories.
And even if you can't be physically together, sometimes a simple phone call or even a handwritten letter can go a long way.
Absolutely. It's about making that effort to reach out, let people know you're thinking of them.
It's those little acts of kindness and connection that make autumn so special. As we're wrapping up this deep dive, I'm feeling a sense of awe and inspiration. These autumn traditions, they've been passed down for generations, and they offer us so much more than just a way to mark the changing seasons.
I agree. It's like they give us a roadmap to living a more meaningful and fulfilling life, not just in autumn, but all year round.
It's like they're whispering ancient wisdom, right? Reminding us to slow down, connect with nature, appreciate the simple things, be grateful for what we have.
And to embrace change, knowing that every ending leads to a new beginning.
Beautifully said. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of autumn traditions. And as always, we want to hear from you. What are some of your favorite ways to celebrate this special season? What rituals or practices bring you joy and connection and gratitude during this magical time of year? Share your stories with us. Let's keep this conversation going.